It's actually unknown as to whether he was pointing it directly at the jury or off to a corner. It's kind of irrelevant, though, because
he still had his finger on the trigger, and it's pointing at
up
people.
And maybe not directly, but in someone's general direction. Still a no-no. I'm honestly surprised that the bailiff or a deputy didn't say something. I guess they checked it, but it's still like.
We're live, by the way.
I figured.
I'm gonna get you one day.
That doesn't matter because anything I say can be live.
Anything you say can and will be held against you on the internet.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty true, actually.
You know, I miss the days when we had at least one concurrent viewer at all times.
Yeah, I know.
I swear that, what was it, a month or 6 weeks that we kind of took off? I think it was only like a month. And it wasn't even really a month. I think it was like 3 weeks.
Oh, you mean when we start? Yeah, no, we start probably because it was an election.
That's true.
Which I completely, I have to apologize to the viewer. I really fucked up because I wanted to do that anniversary show where we had all the guests on at once.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the 1 year anniversary was in fucking October.
Bitch.
I know.
So
which should have been a no brainer because our first episode was about the presidential debates.
Oh yeah.
I just didn't click.
Mm-hmm. This is gonna be a fun one.
Unpack it.
Okay. So what we've seen so far in the media, not in the media, but yeah, I mean technically the media, court TV. Have you been watching? Like as much as you can?
Not as much lately since the jury's been deliberating. I watched all the closing arguments and that was a fucking fiasco. Arguably on both sides, and again, my biggest question is, and I'm not a lawyer, so I assume this is okay, but like, there was a lot of, to quote Tien from DBZ Abridged, both sides, particularly the prosecution, making a lot of assumptions right now.
You would think that he does not sound like prosecution. He sounds like a freaking SJW.
I was gonna say he sounds like a left-wing pundit when he's up there talking.
And when they say this isn't political, it's like, dude, you guys.
The only reason it's at
you're making
the only reason it's at the fucking trial is because it's political. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
You can also tell what side someone's political leaning is because you ask. I asked my business partner this.
Oh God.
I was like,
he's an extreme lefty, right?
Not extreme. He's Canadian, so he's lefty, but by Canadian standards, he's probably like a right wing nut job.
Is he govern me harder, Daddy?
Kind of. Like his some of the stuff he says makes sense unless you're like a born and bred American who has an innate dislike of being told what to do.
I watched a Crowder video and he was interviewing a Canadian, and it just so happened that this particular Canadian happened to be black. And of course, I mean, that doesn't really make a difference, but he was asking him about vaccines and this and that, and the guy was like, "Oh yeah, sure, I get it, to protect, you know, the people, those around me and my family and this and that." And I'm like, that's understandable. That's fine. But and as soon as he said that, and he goes, "Oh, well, might I ask where you're from?" He goes, "I noticed kind of a small accent." He goes, Canada.
Canada.
And Steven Crowder goes, "Oh, okay, that makes sense." And I was like, "What?" And then because, you know, Canada's, you know, pretty strict about certain things, and they're actually very strict with the vaccinations, which, I mean,
I actually found out today that Canada banned Jehovah's Witnesses twice.
Oh, you don't like people coming to your door, huh?
That's not why, but I mean, so therein lies the key difference, honestly, and this is why it really pisses me off when people are like, America's the most intolerant place. It's like, bull fucking shit.
be a gay and go to any Islam country.
Not all. I mean, like in the Middle East, yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Middle East.
Oh yeah, well yeah, an Islamic state, yes,
and then make it known,
absolutely,
and then go and make it known.
Mm-hmm. That'll last maybe an hour, depends on how long it takes to take you to the town center.
But just remember, America, you know, we're the
name me one time that any religion has ever been banned in the United States by the government. Never. You know why? Because we have this little ditty called the First Amendment.
Freedom of religion, bitch.
And people take that shit for granted. But Canada, like I found this out today, Canada literally banned Jehovah's Witnesses twice.
Canada's not even top 10 for freedom of speech.
You know no, that? Not even. No, in Canada you can be jailed for what would constitute, legally speaking, a hate crime. Like, well, okay, you may not necessarily be jailed, but you can get in trouble. You can be fined, and I think you can be jailed. I'm not sure the particulars, but
speaking of Canada, I'm in Canada right now. The Aurora Borealis.
Maybe Alaska, depending. Yeah, maybe Iceland.
I'm somewhere
where you can see the aurora.
Anyway.
Well, what I had a point somewhere. No, I diverted.
You know what? I've got a point too. Is it gonna allow me to show them?
Oh, is this episode
Bold Barbecue?
Is this episode brought to us by Doritos?
I can't get it. I don't know what. There we go. It's got to be on me on the green screen. What? There we go. Bold barbecue chips. These are straight from Canada, and I do not live in Canada. These things were around when we were kids.
I remember my point now. I said my business partner was Canadian, but he heard me listening to I forget whose testimony. Actually, I think it was the closing arguments. No, I was listening to Kyle's testimony. This was last week, or earlier in the week. What day is it today? Thursday. No, it was last week when I was listening to Kyle's testimony. Anyway, he was like, "Oh, is that kid from Kenosha?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
The Kenosha kid.
Well, anyway, he's like, "What do you think about that?" I'm like, I mean, I think he's gonna mostly get off. They might get him on a gun charge. This is before it was dismissed.
Oh, right.
And then and I'm like, "What about you?" And I'm thinking he's gonna agree to a certain extent because he's not anti-gun. Like, he's very, very pro-gun.
He killed somebody.
Well, no, he was like, I hope they fry his ass. I'm like, first of all, the death penalty is not even on the table. Second of all, I was like, are you being attacked?
I guess so.
What? I can't see past the aurora.
There's nothing there now.
Anyway, so I just asked him, I'm like, have you watched the testimony? He's like, oh yeah, all of it. And I'm just like, no, you haven't. There's no fucking way. There's no way. Because literally anyone who has watched all of the testimony, or hell, even some of the testimony, like, the minute you see how these prosecutors are behaving, like, I'm shocked they haven't been granted a mistrial yet, with or without prejudice.
And if they do grant them a mistrial, I mean, let's just say it's a mistrial and they have to start over and not thrown out.
They can talk to the jury.
On top of that, all the not the files, but everything that happened with Rosenbaum, his past, is going to come up, and they're going to be like, you guys are advocating for this guy.
Well, that's why the defense, honestly, like, well, and let's be real, from a legal sense, anything Rosenbaum did before that point is irrelevant.
But at the point, I mean, but
the only thing,
it's not going to look good.
The only thing it would do is speak to his character, but again, that's irrelevant because a convicted murderer can save someone's life. Does that make him?
I know, but it's also going to not make sense because the thing is, he was touching a minor.
He was trying to touch a minor.
Yeah.
Hang on.
His conviction. He lived trying to touch minors.
Oh my God. No. Okay. Here's another thing too. So, using the prosecution's own logic here, I would assume, I don't know this, but I would assume that part of Rosenbaum's debt to society would include him not being within, not being around minors.
I don't really think you can really pay a debt to society when you rape 10 plus kids anally. And that's exactly what it says on his papers.
Yeah, I know. Remember, last episode, I looked up everyone's rap sheets.
I mean, how many times does that shit have to happen before you string someone up and burn them? I mean,
yeah, that was the part that I said I wasn't going to read.
And if we get in trouble for what I just said, then you motherfuckers.
It's a factual.
I understand.
It's a factual statement.
But you better look to Hassan Piker and what he fucking said about Dan Crenshaw.
Right. Yeah. I mean, granted, that didn't involve a minor, but I mean, yeah.
You know what I mean.
Yep.
I don't understand this. It's saying YouTube is not receiving enough video, and I know it's working because obviously we've tested this out. I just don't like seeing that.
I know it's annoying, and we're still on.
And it says we're live. I'm just gonna make it bigger. I don't fucking care.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Oh shit.
But anyway, so back to the court case.
Oh, I was saying I mean, here's the thing though. It's honestly in the defense's best interest. Like, I still think he's not going to be guilty, at least not on all counts, none of the big ones. But it's still in the defense's best interest to get a mistrial with or without prejudice, because like you said, if they get it with prejudice, they're done. And they did file a motion, and the judge has yet to rule on it.
Did you hear what he said about it, though? He said he wants to wait until he hears the verdict. You know what that means.
Yes, if
he gets back guilty, he's going to be like, mistrial.
Exactly. Well, because here's the thing.
That judge already doesn't like the prosecutors.
Oh, not one bit.
Oh. The manipulation of evidence. Did you see that today?
Not today. I drove to and from Chicago today. I haven't seen shit today.
Then let me explain this to you. This is what I was talking about. We need to unpack. Well, I'll unpack for you. So, Kraus, Prosecutor Kraus, or whatever his name is
he the big fucker?
Yeah, he's the fat fuck.
Okay.
Anyway, so
let's not body shame on the Average Intelligence podcast.
Oh no, of course not. Fat fuck is a family friendly term.
Just giving you an idea of the superb intellect of this fucking idiot. He's the guy that said Rosenbaum wasn't a threat just because he didn't have a gun or a weapon. It's like, well, you've clearly never been in a fucking fight in your life.
Yeah, exactly.
Newsflash, asshole! You can kill someone with your bare hands.
All right,
it's actually scarily easy to do.
All right, so the evidence was the drone footage.
Mm-hmm.
They received, because when you enter in evidence, you have to send it to the defense as well, and you send it to the court.
I think I know what you're talking about. You also have to send the exact copy.
Yeah, well, the defense received a 4 megabyte video file when theirs was 11, and the names weren't even the same. So that means it was ran through some type of filter to condense it. And the thing is that what they had was blurry compared to what they showed to the jurors, and they didn't get it at first until they looked at it with the jurors too. And
right.
They're like, "Hey, wait a minute, this isn't the same video."
Right.
And then they was like, "Well, we sent it to you via text message or email. Oh no, airdrop. No.
Would you like me to tell you exactly what happened?
Yeah, they did that. So the thing is, they didn't have a defense against.
They didn't. No, they didn't. They didn't do it deliberately. This is pure fucking technological incompetence.
Oh no. This is where This is where I was going with this.
Go ahead.
The fat fuck. That's his name. FF. His laptop had 2 programs on it. One for cropping, and one for condensing. That's manipulation. Like on his laptop. Why would he need to do that if it's only a fucking 11 megabyte file?
No. This is exactly what happened. Here's what happened. The detective emailed it to him, but he saved it to his phone. iPhones do this awesome little thing where if it's not in an Apple format or codec, it will automatically convert it to an Apple codec.
But it does not add or take away from the title name.
Yes, it
keeps
does.
the same title. I mean,
No,
if it
no,
says numbers, it adds or takes away numbers.
no. So when you save a video to your iPhone, if it has to change the codec on you, it will name it. Depending on which codec it uses, it'll name it either IMG and some number dot move.
No. Not after the dot. I'm talking before the title name. Dot.
I know. It renames it depending on how you save it. If you do a direct file transfer, which is why